Hey, it's your boy Aijalonwallace. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you guys for supporting the channel. Today we're going to be talking about why I quit my six-figure tech recruiter job. And I know you guys probably want to talk about it more. You want to learn about it more, the difference between in-house agency and potentially working for yourself. Now, I fully work for myself now. I'm a recruiter and a recruitment coach. So if you're thinking about starting a recruitment agency and you want to learn how, I do have an online course. You can check it out at nomadrecruiters.com. I also have a free ebook if you want to learn a little bit more about recruitment, and a free training if you want to check that out as well. Now, so if you're looking to get into recruitment, I definitely want to be the content creator and the person you come to learn from today, okay? I do apologize, guys. I haven't been posting much content as well. Your boy's been sick, been traveling around the world. As you guys know, they call me the Nomad Recruiter. So, I just finished leaving Colombia, then I was in Poland, Amsterdam, Sofia. I didn't really record any content, but I will talk about my experiences for those videos as well. So jumping straight into why I quit my six-figure tech recruiting job. So if you guys don't know my story, I moved to Australia and I went there because I got accepted to the University of Sydney Business School. So when I went there, I got my master's degree, and when I graduated, I fell in love with Sydney. I mean, it was amazing, man. It was beautiful weather, beaches, great money, and of course I was very attractive in a country like that as well, being that it's not that many Black Americans, so it was a good life. Anyways, my housemate was a recruiter, if you guys don't know the story, and I was looking for ways to stay in the country because I really needed a visa. And my housemate was like, well, AJ, man, you got a great personality and you're American, you got the accent, I think you would do well as a recruiter. I was like, man, I don't know. I didn't know what a recruiter was. And my housemate showed me his paycheck. It was like $13,000. That was just his commission check on top of his salary, which is like $5K. And I'm like, man, you could really make a lot of money in recruiting. And pretty much I interviewed with a few companies. I ended up going with one company. Was my first job. I went into them, worked with them in. And when I started in recruitment, I really didn't know what niche I wanted to get into. So I started trying out a lot of different niches. I started out in government, then I moved to Salesforce, and then to mobile development. And then I found my niche, which was geospatial recruitment. Anyways, it was so many ups and downs going on in my first company. I still love everyone at the company. I still talk to everyone at the company. I have a great relationship with everybody, but it was just so much. The turnover was just so high. And that can be very stressful when you're working as a technical recruiter because, so many of your friends and your colleagues are constantly leaving. And also on top of that, it's a lot of politics as well when you're working in the agency space, as far as favoritism and how you're ranked within your position based off your performance and stuff like that. So a lot of politics as well. It was a lot going on at this organization at the time, and I decided to part ways and go to a startup company, which was very risky. I was the first hire, the only employee, but I was just very confident in myself, and I decided to go work for somebody as the first employee. They had a lot of clients and they just needed somebody to come in and start making deals. So I went into this company and I started killing it. I did 100K within my second month, and commission checks just started rolling in. I started making a lot of money. Now, the thing about it, I was working so much. I was working Monday through Sunday. It wasn't required for me to work that much, but recruitment is a sales job. And if you want to be the best of the best, you're going to have to put a lot of hours into working in an office. On top of that, I was working so much, and I had to split my commission with the company, and I just didn't feel that it was fair anymore because of the amount of hours and times and sweat equity I was putting in. I just didn't feel like it added up to what I was being paid. I think it sounds good sometimes when we get these six-figure, jobs and you're making 150 or 250K. It sounds good and it seems secure and it seems safe. But when it comes to your stress, your peace of mind, and your mental health, it's another level, and it's a very important that I think it's a discussion that we need to start having more inside of our offices and also more within ourselves. At the end of the day, I felt like as well, my job did try to compensate and try to, help me out in a lot of areas where I felt like I was struggling because I just wasn't feeling the job anymore. So they were really trying to, make things as comfortable for me as possible. But there was a huge reality with myself where I had to be honest with myself and I needed to walk away from that job. I got tired of being in the position where every time I went to a new job, I always found reasons to leave. I would blame my boss. It was too many team meetings. It was this, it was that. And the huge reality was, it was just me. I just wanted more freedom. I wanted more time. I wanted more flexibility. I wanted to get paid a fair amount of money. And I just said to myself, well, I can do this myself. I don't need a company. I know how to find clients. I go to the club, I go to network events, I meet people every day. I meet hiring managers every day. Why can't I go out on my own, find me a client, find a candidate? I already know how to do that because I've been doing it for years, and introduce them to the client, get an interview, and make $20,000, $30,000. So when I quit my job and I finally, left to start my own agency, that's what I did. First sale was about $22,000, $25,000. And then from there, another 20 came, another 30 came, and the sales just started coming in. I started working for myself. I think sometimes there's a huge, the thing about, I think sometimes recruiters get burned out. And, this is a discussion, that I think a lot of recruitment agencies are going to start having to have, because it's like, well, after 3-5 years, you get burned out. You don't want to source anymore. You don't like sourcing. You don't even like client. You don't even like working with clients sometimes as well, depending on who the client is. And you may not be that good as a manager, or you don't want the responsibility of being a manager, because usually what happens, top performers, they usually turn them into managers, but they don't really have great emotional intelligence skills. And they're not really great at managing people or communicating with people and getting them to express how they feel, or making them feel comfortable, or most importantly, making them feel like they're a part of a team. So empathy and emotional intelligence is another thing that a lot of companies lack, when it comes to developing that within recruiters as well. I just felt like, I was in the office 12, 15 hours a day. I would go on dates, but I really didn't have a lot of time and energy to put into my relationships. A lot of my relationships didn't go anywhere because I didn't have time to put energy into them. You got to imagine a person that goes to the office at 7, 8 a.m. and leaves the office at, 9, 10 p.m. How are you going to have time to do things with your partner? How are you going to have time to be a great father? How are you going to have time to invest in your family? Because you got to think, these jobs, we're just another number. We can easily be replaced. But you only get one life. You only get one life. And you're human. And life is short. So life became very simple to me at one point, where I was just like, hey, I'm in my 20s in an office 80 hours a week. This is not the life I imagined for myself, and it's not the type of person I want to be when someone special comes into my life, when I have a family one day. If my family, my immediate family, my mother, my father needs me, I want to be able to be there for them, and I'm going to have to find a way to be free. And that's the beautiful thing about recruitment, is if you're good at it in-house, or in an in-house agency, or as a human resource person, or the talent acquisitions, why wouldn't you be good at it if you did it yourself? And I think a lot of people are, it's tough to have those conversations. And security, yes, security is good. I understand it. Security is good, but it's nothing like making $30,000 in 1 month and being able to take the whole month off of work. It's I don't know if you experienced that. What would you do if you had a whole month of freedom, a whole 30 days of freedom, 1 month on, 1 month off, or 1 month on, 2 months off? What would you do with that time? Would you exercise more? Would you travel more? Would you go to yoga classes? Would you take salsa classes? Would you go back to school? What would you do if you had more freedom and more time? And I had to ask myself those questions. I had to ask myself, if not now, when? And what was most important to me? I think a lot of time when people come to these videos, they're always expecting you to break down the analysis of the company and the organization and all these corporate reasons why, why I'm leaving my job. But it's just like, just ask yourself, what do you want? Like, when's the last time you asked yourself, what do I want? And it's that simple. And if you're not, it's that simple. Like, have a conversation with yourself and write down where you want to be in the next 10 to 20 years. As you guys are looking at my YouTube videos, you see I'm traveling the world because I know, well, I make, 40,000 a month. Okay, I'm able to do that in sales. And I'm living in countries where my money is times 10. So I'm in Thailand right now. 30,000 here is equivalent to 100K almost, just because of how cheap it is. So you live the life that you want to live. I don't sell Lambos. I don't sell mansions. I'm not here to BS you or teach you how to be a millionaire. That's not me. That's not who I am. I'm here to teach you how to be free. If you want to learn how to start a recruitment agency, you can check out nomadrecruiters.com. But I also want you to have a really serious conversation with yourself if you're watching the video like this, because most likely you're thinking about leaving your job. And if you're thinking about leaving your job, you just have to ask yourself, if not now, when? It can be too late at some stage, sometimes. If you wait too long, especially depending on your situation, if you have a family, if you're in a relationship. For me, I was in a situation where I was single, I had no kids, and I was like, it's better I do this now before trying to do this with a partner. And it's going to be some ups and downs until things take off for me. So let me try to make this happen now. That way, when someone comes into my life, at least together at the end of the day. But I think a lot of people who are watching this video, about if you're going through this transition right now, you're thinking about potentially quitting your job. Most likely, you're thinking about quitting it because you probably want to work for yourself. Because if you're thinking about quitting your job and going to another company, why wouldn't it be? What's going to be different from your current situation? People are going to say, oh, well, I'm going to be able to work remotely. Okay. But if you work remotely, you're going to probably work more when you work from home if you don't know how to have a balance. And most importantly, if you work remotely for yourself, it's for yourself. You have control, you have freedom, and you make more money. If you work remotely for a company, you're getting out of the bed straight to your computer. And if you don't have anything planned that day, you're going to be working on your computer throughout the day. You're going to be working at home because you're working for your organization. You're going to feel a lot of pressure to always be at work when you're working for a company. So you're going to try to find a lot of reasons why, I think a lot of people come here and they look for a lot of reasons to quit their job, where it's a huge reality where it's you, it's not the company. And that is when I had to be honest with myself and realize that I needed to make a change and I needed something new. And I needed something new, but I need to be honest with myself. I needed to work for myself. Because every company I went to or I was going to go to, it was always going to be an excuse why it did not work or why it doesn't work. Yeah, in the end, I left my company. I have nothing but great things to say about both of my organizations. Like I said, I was at a situation where I wasn't the most mature in the sense of how I was seeing life and how I was seeing perspective and seeing things. But it was one of the scariest moments of my life, quitting that job. I was like, man, I don't know what's going to happen. And it was scary, but it was exciting as well. And my life changed forever when I left that company. But the beautiful thing about recruitment, anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it from their household. You can do it from anywhere around the world. If you're good at it right now, you can be good at it doing it yourself as well. And if you are looking to go to another organization, just make sure you be realistic about your expectations. Everything isn't about the title of the company or the name or the brand, as you are seeing more and more technical recruiters go to startup organizations because there's more freedom, there's more flexibility, there's more autonomy. You are even seeing recruiters work with organizations that don't even pay salaries. They just do 50-50 commission fees, so it's a lot more freedom in that sense where you're able to work in your side businesses or whatever other projects you got going on as well. But I think that, hopefully this video was helpful for you. It wasn't your typical, 100 reasons why you should quit a job type of video, but I just wanted you to be sincere enough to ask yourself, well, what do I want? And When am I going to stop making excuses and take actions on the things that I want to do in life? Look, if you love this content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check me out at nomadrecruiters.com if you are thinking about starting your own recruitment agency. And I can't wait to talk to you soon. Comment below, let me know if you're thinking about leaving your job, some of the reasons you left your job, your tech recruiter position, and I would love to hear more from you. All right, can't wait to see you soon.